Good morning, children. Saira. Welcome to the revision session of History Chapter 10th, that is 18th century political formations. So, children, this is the last revision chapter that we are going to cover, and a very important one too. So, I request you all to keep your notepads and pen handy to write the important points. So, let us begin with the revision. Children, during the first half of the 18th century, the boundaries of the Mughal Empire were reshaped. Okay? Reshaped how? With the emergence of number of independent kingdoms. So by the year 1765, another power, that is the British, had successfully grabbed major chunks of territory in eastern India. Okay, political conditions in 18th century India changed quite dramatically, and within a very short span of time new political groups emerged in the subcontinent during the first half of the 18th century, that is, say roughly from 1707 when Aurangzeb died till the third battle of Panipat. So basically, the 18th century was the period of transition for India. The Mughal Empire had started to decay during the last 25 years of the reign of Aurangzeb, when he was preoccupied with wars in the Deccan. So, today in the revision session of this chapter, which I will be doing in 2 or 3 parts, we will study or we will revise the following concepts: the later Mughals and foreign invaders, and the rise of independent states. Now let us look at the first subtopic, that is the crisis of the empire and the later Mughals. Mughal Empire reached the height of its success and started facing a variety of crises towards the closing years of the 17th century. What were the reasons? Emperor Aurangzeb had depleted the military and financial resources of his empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. Right? Under Aurangzeb's successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. The later Mughal emperor could not keep a check on their powerful mansabdars. So basically, what is it? It is inefficient successors, right? The efficiency of the imperial administration broke down, isn't it? Now, the nobles appointed as governors, that is subadars, often controlled the offices of revenue and military administration, that is Diwani and Faujdari. This gave them extraordinary political, economic, and military powers over vast regions of the Mughal Empire. So, then what was the result of this? Government consolidated their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of revenue to the capital declined. That is, as the government consolidated their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of the revenue to the capital decline, peasants and Zamindari rebellions in many parts of the northern and western India were caused by the pressure of mounting taxes. Later, Mughals were unable to arrest the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of provincial government, chieftains, and other groups. So, the third point in this is peasants and Zamindari rebellions added to these problems. Why? Because of the pressure of mounting tax, and chieftains were unable to seize the economic resources to consolidate their positions. So basically, the Mughal emperors after Aurangzeb were unable to arrest the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of the provincial governors, local chieftains, and other groups. Very important, children. So, if you want, you can note down just the pointers. So, children, now we move on to the next topic, but prior to that, let us understand first the raids by Irani and Afghani rulers. So, in the middle of this crisis, the rulers of Iran, that is Nadir Shah, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739, and he took away immense amount of wealth. This was followed by a series of plundering raids by the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali, who invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. Controls of nobles over the Mughals. Before that, let us look at this extract from page number 140 of your textbook, which is Rich Harvest and Empty Coffers. The following is a contemporary writer's account of the financial bankruptcy of the empire. So, according to him, the great lords are helpless and impoverished. Their peasants raise 2 crops a year, but their lords see nothing of either, and their agents on the spot are virtual prisoners in the peasants' hands, like a peasant kept in his creditor's house until he can pay his debt. So complete is the collapse of all the order and administration that though the peasant reaps a harvest of gold, his lord does not see so much as a wisp of straw. How then can the lord keep the armed force he should? How can he pay the soldiers who should go before him when he goes out, or the horsemen who should ride behind him? Yeah, so now let us look at the controls of nobles over Mughals. Nobles in Mughal Empire were divided into 2 major groups or factions, that is the Iranis and the Turanis. The Turanis were the nobles of Turkish descent. So, for a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of the 2 powerful groups, that is the Mughal Emperor Farrukh Siyar from 1713 to 1719 and Alamgir II from 1754 to 1759. They were assassinated, and 2 others, that is Ahmad Shah from 1748 to 1754 and Shah Alam II from 1759 to 1816, were blinded by their nobles. So, Let us understand the raids by Irani and Afghan rulers. Rulers of Iran, that is Nadir Shah, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739. The Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. Now, let us look at the next topic, that is emergence of new states. So, with the decline in the authority of the Mughal emperors, the governors of large provinces, Subadars, and the great Zamindars consolidated their authority in different parts of the subcontinent. Through the 18th century, the Mughal Empire gradually fragmented into a number of independent regional states. The states of the 18th century can be divided into three overlapping groups. First, states that were old Mughal provinces like Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. Although powerful and quite independent, the rulers of these states did not break their formal ties with the Mughal emperor. Next one, states that had enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. Now these included several Rajput principalities. And third, that is the last group, it included states under the control of the Marathas, Sikhs, Jats, etc. With this, I end this part of the revision of chapter 10th of history, that is 18th century political formations. See you in the next session. Till then, goodbye and keep learning.